Come on. This was the grand prize.
Day 3 of the freeze. Fuel access unavailable.
Oh, Lily had the better prize.
Give her the RV. America is watching.
Fine. Take it.
Day 9 of the freeze. Do not leave shelter.
I can make it 2 more weeks.
Food, heat, medicine. Everything in here is ours now.
This place was keeping me alive. The cabin buys days. Movement buys a future. I'm back. Me too.
America, after 48 days of survival trials, our final 2 are estranged stepsisters. Lily Carter wins the Newmar King Aire, $1.5 million on wheels. Sue Bishop receives the Crook County Cabbage property.
Lily, same offer. Give her the RV.
No swap. I want the cabin. No swap. I keep the RV. You died after me, in the cabin. And you died first, in the RV. Then we both remember. $4.7. Cleared.
Closed at 8:40 cash. Wire hits your account by 3.
Park Slope tomorrow morning, 12/2.
Good.
You sold a condo, a brownstone, and half your folio in 48 hours. Are you running from someone?
From the weather.
That is not an answer.
Saturday night, I am buying a Powerball ticket worth $52 million. I'd like you to handle the trust paperwork in advance.
You're buying a ticket that you know is going to hit.
I know it's going to hit.
Number 4, 17, 23.
Ma'am, that is the whole jackpot.
$52 million by steel, fuel, medicine, and silence.
Are you okay?
I will be if you forget my face.
Hi, sis. I saw you bought a ticket. By morning, my followers, all 4 million of them, will know my poor crying sister had her prize stolen from her on live TV. They will hate you.
Good. Let them watch me keep it. Marcus, my father's sealed package. The one for my 30th birthday, Marcus.
Lily, that's 2 years from now.
I
Lily,
want it tomorrow.
Your father left specific instructions.
Marcus. Tomorrow, Marcus.
How do you know about that?
Because last time, I opened it after the world ended. We are already late.
Your father gave me 3 rules. Never open it, never tell you it exists before your 30th. And if you ever ask for it early, by name, no hesitation, give it to you. Whatever's in there. He spent 20 years on it. He talked about you the whole time he was building it. I'll be at the brownstone, whatever you need.
Thank you, Marcus.
Hey kid, if you're hearing this, you asked Marcus for the box early, which means something's coming, or you think something is. Either way, I built you a network. 8 caches, 4 states, 20 years of work. The notebook has the coordinates, the map has the routes. You go to the first one in Goshen County, the rest comes from there. I'm sorry I'm not there, kid. I'm so sorry. Use what I left. Don't trust me. But keep the compass on you, always.
Hi, Dad.
Sister, you disappeared from the city. People are asking.
Tell them I'm fine.
I heard Marcus visited you. Old family lawyer. Sweet of him.
Good night, Sue. Goshen first, then the rest. Coming, Dad. You first. I'm right behind you. "30 feet north. Big shovels on me, Dad."
Hey kid, if you're standing on the Gosham hatch, those 5 numbers are still good. They always were.
They are, Dad. this 20 years ago. For an RV, you didn't even know I'd have. You gave me the armor. You left me the wiring. Fair enough.
Lady, this is a six-figure rig before I touch it.
I have the specs and the cash. 2 weeks.
Whoever drew this knew what they were doing. This ain't civilian work.
2 weeks, Dale.
2 weeks.
Kid, backup diesel pump. After that, you decide what the rig still needs.
No.
You are not building a camper.
No. I am building the last warm room in Wyoming.
Where'd you learn to read a hot torch?
Wildless EMT. 5 seasons. Bodies fail in patterns.
And the man who drew this?
He's been dead 20 years.
You hear that?
Keep welding.
That ain't a Wyoming sky.
It's the sky we earned.
She'll take 762 NEA across the broadside and keep going. Cage runs at 10,000 volts. Anything touches it, it dies.
Show me. Good.
Lord, I built that. Propane, diesel, whatever you got, hands.
Take it. Just take it.
I will. I'm not the worst thing that's coming. Stay inside.
NOAA confirms a global atmospheric anomaly. Temperatures dropping across the entire northern hemisphere. Lockdown order within the hour. Stay inside. Stay inside.
Day 0. Right on time.
Hammer crew to all stations. Cheyenne grid going dark. We move at dawn. Out.
Faster than you wrote, Dad. Way faster. Hold. 40 below in 90 minutes. The math is over. Now the staying alive starts.
One of the freeze. F-toll cannot be confirmed.
New York, Chicago, Atlanta, all reporting grid failure.
Do not leave shelter!
60 days of food, 350 of fuel. Neobrana next, Dad.
Sister, look at you. You're alive.
You sound surprised.
I'm not surprised. There's a difference.
It's so warm here, Lily. 6 cards of oak, a spring fud well. I could stay here for years. That's nice for you.
You don't have to do this alone. I have room here. Just tell me where you are.
I'm fine, Sue. Enjoy the cabin. She's still with him. She has to be. Already. So. Quiet. Dark. Hands-free. Not yet. Non-smell.
Wyoming winter emergency. Remain indoors. Visibility near 0. Statewide closure. Mission offline. Repeat. No ground access.
Please, anybody. I can see your lights through the seam. I'm a delivery courier. My van broke down. I have a kid in the back.
No vans. Not on day 3. We walked. Where's the kid?
In the van, back at the off-ramp. I ran from there, couldn't carry her.
Walk back to the van. I'll bring food and a blanket in 5 minutes.
Lady, just 2 minutes to warm up. 2 minutes.
You walked here alone. Why?
Hammer crew, Cole's people. Already, she's done it already. Different life, same sister.
I am the daughter of the true dragon. But on the day I gave birth, my husband Varys carried my children away with his own hands. The dragon crystal was bitterly cold. I lay in a pool of blood, my fingertips digging into the seams of the stone, my voice horny enough to sound like someone else's.
Varys, give me back my children.
The 2 newborns cried in his arms. Each cry stabbed it, hurting more than the tearing of stood below the steps of the throne, wrapped in a snow-white cloak, her eyes red, as if she were the one who had suffered every injustice.
Sister, don't be like this.
She reached out and took the children, her voice as light as a sigh. I crawled toward her.
They are not a burden. They are my children!
Varys looked down at me. There was no tenderness in his eyes, only impatience. He blocked my hand with 1 foot.
Enough, Ilana.
I clenched my teeth and lifted my head.
I beg you, let me hold them once. Just once.
As if shielding the most precious treasure in the world.
Her soul is unstable. She can never bear children. You are her elder sister. What is wrong with fulfilling her wish this once? Would you really watch her suffer for the rest of her life?
I laughed until
Fulfill her wish with my flesh and blood.
his brows drew tighter.
Do not make yourself sound so pitiful. You are already the commander's wife. Is that still not enough?
I looked at the children in his arms. Would have been against my chest, listening to my heartbeat, but Varys turned and left. When Isolette passed by me, she lowered her head and smiled softly. In a moment, I learnt that when a person's heart is hollowed out, she can still remain alive and breathe. That was 8 years ago. 8 years later, I finally understood that what had been carried away that day was not only my children, but also my last hope of ever being loved. The Dragon King of the Western Realm found me very late. Before that, I had grown up outside the dragon nest, like an abandoned wild beast. Later they said I was the lost daughter of the true dragon, and they brought me back to the royal city, giving me fine clothes, a name, and an old betrothal contract. When I married Varys, he was the Dragonbone commander, cold, powerful, and disgusted by me. On our wedding night, he did not lift my bridal veil. He only stood by the door and said,
Ilana, I married you only because of the betrothal.
I asked softly,
And afterwards?
Do not covet what does not belong to you.
He did not even look at me. A year later, he married Isolette. She was a false dragon daughter, yet she looked more loved than I ever did. My parents doted on her, the servants respected her, and Varys protected her. Later, even my children called her mother. After 8 years of marriage, the dragon god appeared again. A silver spirit body hovered above the outer keep, its light illuminating my empty room.
The trial is over. Varys' soul love has reached completion. You may strip away your dragon soul and leave this world. Or you may remain.
I stared at him blankly.
He loves me?
The words were so absurd I almost wanted to laugh. He gave hatred to our wedding night, gave my children to Isolette, and gave all his tenderness to someone else. Dragon God, are you certain you have not seen wrong? The dragon god's gaze remained gentle.
The love of the soul does not always appear as tenderness.
Then how does it appear?
As humiliation? Neglect? Or forcing me to kneel outside the door and listen to my children call another woman mother?
The dragon god was silent. My tears finally fell, but not because I could not bear to leave Varys. I want to leave.
Before the separation, you have 1 day.
The dragon god said,
You may say goodbye.
I thought of Lucian and Averia. Even if they refused to acknowledge me, I wanted to see them one last time. So I went to the crystal corridor. Lucian was 6, standing in the light, his small dragon horns glimmering faintly. When he saw me, the first thing he said was,
"Why are you here again?"
Lucian stepped back warily, as if he had seen something filthy.
Didn't I tell you not to come? If Mother sees me talking to you, she will be sad.
I crouched in front of him and tried to make my smile gentle. I only came to say goodbye. He frowned.
Goodbye? Are you pretending to be pitiful again?
My hand froze in midair. After today, we will not see each other again. Lucian paused, but his face quickly turned cold again.
You say that every time. Are you trying to make me feel sorry for you so you can make Mother cry?
Lucian. I called his name softly. I am not trying to take you away.
You are lying.
Hatred filled his eyes.
Mother said you have always wanted to steal me and my sister back. Why can't you leave us alone?
Before I could answer, Varez's voice came from behind me.
Elana.
As he approached, the entire corridor seemed to grow colder. He seized my arm and dragged me into the room beside us. The door slammed shut, leaving Lucian outside.
What exactly are you trying to do?
Varez lowered his voice.
Lucian and Aurelia were raised by Isilth. Must you expose their bloodline in front of them and make them suffer?
I wrenched free of his hand.
I am their birth mother. I only wanted to say goodbye before I die.
Die?
He sneered.
Dragons do not die easily. Elana, do not use such words to trick others into pitying you.
I am not lying to you.
Then go apologize to Isoleth.
He stared at me.
Promise that from now on you will never disturb her family again.
Her family, my husband, my children, the blood I had shed in childbirth. In the end, all of it had become her family. Suddenly, I became very calm. Varez, if one day I truly died, would you regret it? A flicker of impatience passed through his eyes.
I would only regret having indulged you too much in the beginning.
I nodded. All right. I will remember that. Outside the door, a maid's panicked voice suddenly rang out.
Commander, something is wrong. Miss Aurelia's dragon breath is unstable, and she is crying for Lady Alana's scent.
Varez's expression changed, and he turned immediately. Looking at his back, I whispered, "So she finally still remembers me." But that one memory almost cost me my life. Aurelia still remembered my scent. That alone was enough to make my heart ache, until it softened. I returned to the outer keep and took out a soul crystal. The stone was cold in my palm. I cut my wrist open and let true dragon blood seep into it, drop by drop. When the blood fell into the crystal, silver blue light flared, but my chest felt as if it had been torn open, and black dragon blood surged into my throat. The dragon god's voice sounded.
Before the separation, your soul will split, your blood will grow cold, and life will slowly leave your body.
I wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth. It does not matter. I am very good at enduring pain. A child raised in the bone wasteland learns first not to cry, but to keep silent. Crying draws monsters. Saying it hurts only makes others think you are easier to bully. I carried the soul crystal to Silver Moon Tower. Inside the tower, warm light shone and soft fragrance drifted, as if it were another world. Lucian stood at the door and blocked me.
What are you doing here again?
Aurelia wants my dragon breath. I brought it to her. Leave it here.
He reached out and snatched the soul crystal away.
You cannot go in. Mother will be unhappy.
I looked at the figures through the crack in the door. Aurelia lay in Isoleth's arms, calling her softly.
Mother.
Isolde lowered her head and kissed her forehead. Good child, mother is here. Vera sat beside them, tucking Islam's cloak around her. His voice was so gentle I nearly failed to recognize it.
You have worked hard.
I stood outside the door, my wrists still bleeding. Isolde suddenly lifted her eyes and saw me. The corner of her mouth curved. Holding my daughter, she mouthed silently to me. See, she only recognizes me. I lowered my eyes and turned away. But before I had gone far, a scream suddenly came from inside the tower. Cups and dishes shattered. A maid rushed out in the panic.
Something has happened to the soul-calming crystal! Lady Isolde is coughing blood!
Before I could return to the outer keep, Varys came after me. He seized my wrist, his grip almost crushing the bones.
Elena, you have grown bold indeed.
Pain darkened my vision. Let go.
You placed a soul-splitting curse in the crystal.
His voice was as cold as snow.
After Isolde touched it, her dragon soul became unstable, and Auroria vomited blood as well.
I froze. Impossible. There was only my blood inside.
Your blood?
He laughed in fury.
Do you think I would believe that?
You can have the High Priest examine it.
Before the matter is clarified, you will apologize to her first.
He dragged me back to the front of Silvermoon Tower. Wind and snow struck my face, and I could barely stand. Lucian rushed out, his eyes frighteningly red.
You hurt my sister!
Lucy, I did not!
You are still arguing!
Flames of a young dragon lit on his little horns, and he slammed fiercely into my abdomen. I fell into the snow. My ribs felt broken, and my throat filled with the taste of blood.
I hate you!
He cried.
Why don't you just die? If you died, Mother would never be sad again!
Only after those words fell did Varys finally pull him away. I looked up at Vace, thinking he would at least say, enough. But he only said coldly,
Until Isolde and Aurelia recover, kneel here and reflect on your wrongdoing.
I knelt in the snow, the blood from my wrist freezing dark red. Inside Silvermoon Tower, the lamps were warm. My children were crying there, and my husband was guarding another woman.
What if it turns out it was not me?
He was silent for a moment.
Then I will apologize.
Apologize. Such a light word. Soon, the High Priest walked out of the tower, his face grave.
Commander, the result is out.
I lifted my head and saw Varys's face finally change. The High Priest said in a low voice,
There is no curse. The crystal contains only true dragon blood. Miss Aurelia was merely frightened, and Lady Isolde's dragon soul briefly became unstable because of overexertion.
The sound of snow suddenly seemed very loud. Varys froze where he stood. Lucian stood inside the tower door. Even after hearing the truth, he only clutched Isolde's skirt tighter and did not look at me. Varys came toward me as if he meant to help me up.
Elena, I'm sorry.
I did not give him my hand. He frowned.
Lucian was only worried about his sister. He does not truly hate you.
I wanted very much to ask, then what would count as true hatred? Was it making me kneel in the snow, letting my own child curse me to death, or asking me to swallow all the pain and then understand them in return? But I was too tired. It does not matter. It will be over soon anyway. Varys's expression darkened slightly.
What are you saying now?
Before I could answer, Madame Morwan arrived with guards. She had been an old attendant by my birth parents' side. From the first day I returned to the dragon nest, she had never treated me as a true young lady. She glanced at me and frowned in disgust.
Lady Alana, the Dragon King and Queen were furious when they heard you had harmed Isolde. I am here to carry out family discipline.
Varys said coldly.
The matter has already been investigated. She did not cast a curse.
But Morwen said indifferently.
Yet Lady Isolde was indeed frightened because of her. True dragon blood is filthy and uncontrollable. It deserves punishment.
I lifted my head.
My blood is filthy.
Morwen waved her hand.
30 strips with the dragon wax.
When the first lash fell, I could not even make a sound. The dragon bit was carved with forbidden runes. Each strike felt as if my soul were being torn apart. After 30 trisses, the snow was dyed red with blood. Varys finally shouted in anger.
Enough!
But Morwen crouched down and pressed her hand to my chest. Not enough. Her most precious heart-guarding scale will be perfect stabilizing Lady Isolith's dragon soul. My eyes widened. The next moment, she tore away my heart-guarding scale by force.
We need to get married as soon as possible today, so my daughter can get her green card.
She's my mom, Kate, and my only family. We got here a few months ago, and she was talking with my soon-to-be stepfather about my green card and school enrollment.
If we go to the courthouse now, we won't make it in time to pick up Iris.
This is my stepfather, Tom. He loves my mom and treats me very well.
Leon, can you please pick her up after school, just for one day?
This is Leon, my stepdad's son. He's quiet and reserved, not much of a talker, and he'll be my older brother from now on. I'm Iris. I've led a wandering life since I was a kid, having been to countless places. Hope we can settle down this time.
Fine.
Let's go, husband.
Let's go, my wife.
Tom, is this too fast? Do you think we're too calculating, my daughter and I?
Of course not. I love you, and I love your daughter. You're my family now.
We have a code 3, possible fatality.
Hey, Iris, how are you getting home? My brother is coming to pick me up.
Where are they?
There was nothing we could do. I'm so sorry.
No.
Iris Clark, you need to come with me.
You're a murderer.
No, I didn't do anything.
You and your mother, you used our family as a visa dealer. You killed my brother!
Leon, I really didn't, please.
This is a hospital. You cannot do this. You're all coming with me to the station right now.
That girl just now was Leon's aunt, and my stepfather's biological sister, Carol. I have no idea why she treats me like this when I've done nothing wrong. Now my mom, my only family, is gone, and I don't know how to go on living.
Iris has no valid visa and needs a guardian.
I can barely afford Leon. He turns 18 soon. I can't take her too.
She's your stepsister. What do you think?
No.
I'm sorry, we can't release you.
Leon, please, can you save me? I only have you.
That girl's in for a rough ride now.
She's done. So done.
What will they do to her?
I heard they ship them off to some island, lock them in a detention center, wait for a plane to send them back. Pretty girl like that, no family back home to take her in? It's going to be bad.
I'm going to bed. This isn't right. It's going to be bad.
Wait!
What are you doing? Your family just said you couldn't take her.
Forget all that.
The boy that has raised me is mine.
Why did you bring that jinx back? She killed your father, and now no school will ever take her. You've thrown away everything
For what?
Without legal resident status, we charge $20,000 tuition fee.
Our scholarships are strictly for local residents. We don't make exceptions.
Let me be blunt, Leon. This is an elite district, not a charity for illegal dropouts. People like her don't belong in our classrooms.
But her test scores are exceptional. She could make it to law school one day. Can't you just give her a chance?
I suggest you lower your expectations. That girl doesn't belong here.
It's okay, Leon. Let's just go.
I'll find another way. I need a loan for Iris's tuition. I'll pay back every cent once I start my carpentry earning.
$20,000? What do I look like to you, a bank?
When my father died, his estate and life insurance account went directly to you. I'm only asking for what belongs to me.
Dave, did you hear about any savings account?
Never heard of that.
I'll turn you both into cannibals and stomp you into the dirt! You won't get a single dime from this family! Get out! Get the hell out of our house!
This fucking witch, she took everything from me!
Wait, Leon! Calm down. Don't lose yourself in this rage.
Leon, what day is it today? The lunch lady gave it to me. She said it was left over from the baking club. But I think she knew. Happy 18th birthday, Leon. Leon, no one wants me. Do you?
I'm gonna get you out of here.
My husband, Julian, married his elder brother's widow, Cecilia, to secure his title. My daughter Adele and I waited for him on a crumpling farm. A kind passerby warned me.
Julian has already been made count. Why are you still here?
So I took Adele to the royal capital to find him. But Cecilia, his widowed sister-in-law, fed Adele poisoned cakes. Adele convulsed, then vomited black blood onto the carpet. I screamed and lunged for her, cradling her as I wiped the poisoned blood from her lips. That was when Julian walked in.
Julian! Save her! Please! Call a court physician for our daughter!
I crawled toward him and clutched his boots, begging. Julian looked down at me, then slid an arm around Cecilia's waist.
What mad woman is this, screaming in my castle?
His voice was ice cold. He kicked my hand away in disgust.
Drag this woman and that little bastard outside the city. Beat them to death.
As the guards dragged me away, I heard Cecilia give a cold laugh.
Genevieve, if you stay alive, how can Julian and I rule this castle in peace?
The vows Julian had made were long forgotten. Adele and I died full of hatred. When I opened my eyes again, cold wind poured down my throat. I had not died in the hall of the Count's castle. The gods had heard my curse and sent me back to the day Julian was officially made Count. I threw away the wild berries in my hand and sold the farm. Then I carried Adele back to Anjik Castle and knelt, begging my father to forgive me.
Father, your daughter was wrong.
My father stood inside the drawbridge, watching me through an iron gate.
Are you sure this time? Genevieve, what makes me believe this isn't another whim?
Father, I won't run again.
You said that last time. You said Julian was the bravest knight you'd ever seen. You said he deserved your heart more than the man on the throne.
I said nothing. Those words were mine. Every last one. In the end, Father relented.
Come in. Stop embarrassing me at the gate.
I stood with Adele in my arms, my legs gone numb. Margaret, the housekeeper, hurried over to support me and said softly,
My lady, His Grace sent men to the Black Forest for years to look for you.
I froze. Margaret sighed, but the people there said you'd moved long ago. No one knew where you'd gone. The foyer hearth burned bright. Father sat in a high-backed chair.
Tell me, how did you live these past 5 years?
I stood before him while Margaret carried Adil to the side parlour. At first it was fine. Julian told me to wait for him at the farm. He sent silver every month. By the 4th month I was picking wild berries in the woods. Adele was born during a snowstorm. No one helped me. I cut the cord myself. 3 days after she was born, Julian's messenger came. He said Julian was working to inherit the title. He told me to wait a little longer. That little longer became 5 years. Do you know why he never came? Father opened his eyes. They were already red.
I know. He had to marry his widowed sister-in-law to inherit the title. Those people at the church granted him a dispensation. So what will you do now?
Father asked.
Do you want to accuse him of bigamy before the church? I can send someone with the papers, but think carefully. Once this becomes public, Adele will be dragged into it.
It could damage her reputation.
I cut him off. Julian has nothing. From start to finish, he has only an empty title and a mountain of debt. Father was silent for a while.
What did you ever see in him?
I closed my eyes. It was autumn, 6 years ago. I had gone hunting. A storm hit on the ride back. I was separated from my guards. Julian lay in the mud, one leg bent wrong. I had my guards carry him to a nearby farm. I splint his leg.
The Count of the Eastern Border.
That was how Julia introduced himself. I stayed at the farm and cared for him for a month. The day he could walk, he limped into the yard. He saw me mounted, ready to return to Angor Castle.
Will you come back?
He said. Maybe, I said, looking down at him.
Then I'll wait for you here.
He said it, then tore a cord from his neck. A copper ring hung from it.
This isn't worth much, but it's been with me for 10 years. Take it when you come back.
I'll give it back. I took the ring.
When you come back.
Julian smiled.
I'll tell you a secret.
After that, I went back every few days. One night, he suddenly said,
Genevieve, I want to marry you.
He came over and dropped to one knee.
I know I have no land and no title, but I swear I will love only you for the rest of my life. Count or beggar, you are my wife.
He held my hand and slid the copper ring back onto my finger. That night, we swore our vows before the farm statue of the gods. When he kissed me, I thought that was the end of the story.
So you believed him.
Father's voice pulled me back into the foyer.
I'll ask you one last time.
He came to stand before me, looking down.
Are you sure this time you won't climb the wall and run in the middle of the night?
I won't. The voice was firm.
Good.
He turned and walked deeper into the foyer.
Tomorrow morning I'll send men to the church with a complaint accusing him of bigamy.
Father!
I stopped him. I don't want it submitted privately. He turned back, his eyes cold as ice.
What did you say?
I raised my head and met his eyes. I want the ruling, but I also want a public trial. I want him to admit, before the Queen Regent, that he abandoned his wife and daughter. Father stared at me for a long time. Then he smiled.
You are my daughter after all. When you turn ruthless, even I hardly recognize you.
I ordered Margaret to deliver a letter to a cloaked man. He was my father's best rumour runner, the sort who fed whispers into taverns. Adele had fallen asleep on the rug. Margaret brought in hot soup and lowered her voice.
My lady, people outside are saying Count Julian abandoned his first wife in the Black Forest to die, all for a title.
How far has it gone? I lifted the soup and took a sip.
Now they say that after marrying his widowed sister-in-law, he sent men to the farm to silence you.
I want him sleepless. I looked out into the night. If he can still sleep, he won't panic. If he doesn't panic, he won't act. In less than 5 days, the rumour filled every street in the capital. A lame old sailor slapped a table and said,
"Have you heard about that new Count of the Eastern Border? He had a first wife, left her in the Black Forest to die."
Then came the fish market. A vendor gossiped.
I heard he wanted the title and his widowed sister-in-law, so he sent men to kill his own child.
Even in the saloons where nobles gathered, people murmured.
Count Julia, the one who built his fortune on his wife's dowry, then tossed her aside.
That's him. They say his first wife still has the marriage contract. If it reaches the church, he may lose everything.
Then why doesn't he bring her back?
Bring her back? He married his widowed sister-in-law. That's bigamy. The church won't spare him. Margaret brought these words back to me every day. That night, Father stood at the stairs of the East Tower, holding a cup of hot wine.
Using the rumours to force his hand.
He said,
"You know the whole capital is talking, so he'll have to check whether you're truly dead."
Father took a sip of wine and watched me for a long time.
"Genevieve, you're using your own life as bait."
"Father, the fish was already bitten." I smiled at him. Julian's captain of the guard took 5 men into that Black Forest farm at midnight. They broke down the door and searched every corner. They found no one. The captain set a fire and burned the whole cottage to ash. When he returned to the capital, Julia asked,
"Did you see them die inside with your own eyes?"
The captain said,
"The fire was huge. Even if they weren't dead, they couldn't survive."
Julian took 30 gold coins from his purse and threw them on the table.
"Go drink. Take this to your grave."
The captain seized the coins and left. The moment the door closed, Julian leaned back and let out a long breath. He smiled. These words came from an informant Father had planted in the Count's kitchen. After I heard the report, I lifted Adele onto my lap.
Adele, would you like to go somewhere with lots of people and lots of good food?
Adele was gnawing a piece of dry bread. She looked up at me.
I want to go.
Julian was holding an autumn harvest feast. It was his celebration after being officially invested as Count of the Eastern Border. He meant to present Cecilia as Countess, so the capital could see who truly owned the castle. On the day of the feast, night fell early. I lifted one corner of the carriage curtain and glanced out. Margaret. After I go in, stay in the carriage with Adele.
My lady, you're going in alone?
Alone. I placed Adele in Margaret's arms. When I send someone for you, bring Adele inside. Remember, if anyone asks who you are, I pinched Adele's cheek. Say I am the Grand Duke of Angen's granddaughter. I am looking for my mother. Margaret's lips moved, but in the end, she said nothing. I stepped down from the carriage. The doors to the banquet hall were shut tight. I raised my hand and knocked 3 times. No one answered. I knocked 3 more times. This time, the door cracked open. A butler poked his head out and looked me over.
"The banquet has already begun. Without an invitation."
I don't need an invitation.
I pushed back the hood of my cloak, revealing my whole face. The butler froze. His gaze moved from my face to my collar, then stopped on the golden lily.
You are?
Tell Count Julia. An old friend from the Black Forest has come to dine. The butler's face changed. He stumbled back, turned and ran into the hall. Nobles filled both sides of the long table. Goblets hung in midair. Forks hovered over plates. Every eye fixed on me. Then I saw Julian. He sat at the head of the long table, Cecilia on his left. When he recognized my face, his fork slipped from his hand and struck the silver plate. Color drained from his face, inch by inch. Cecilia screamed. The hall erupted.
"Who is that woman? Why is she wearing Andam's lily?" "The Grand Duke of Andam's lily. Could she be Lady Genevieve? Wait. She said an old friend from the Black Forest. The first wife from the rumors?"
My father bought a pair of twin serpent shifters from a pile of corpses in the underground black market. My younger sister chose the older brother at once, the one who had fallen for her at first sight. That left only the younger one, the mute brother. I knew any shifter who was not chosen would be sent off for humane euthanasia, so I took pity on him and kept him. He could not speak, so I took him from doctor to doctor, trying to cure his mucus. I practiced sign language for 2 hours every day just so I could communicate with him. He was frail, and because he was a serpent shifter, the other bodyguards often picked on him, so I secretly trained in combat myself, strengthening my body, so I could pay them back one by one on his behalf.
I thought my sincerity would earn his loyalty, until the day the estate villa caught fire. With both my sister and me pinned beneath fallen beams, he looked at us and chose her without hesitation.
I'm sorry. I have to save Chloe first.
So he could speak after all. As the flame slowly swallowed me whole, he signed something only I could understand.
I owe you more than I can repay in this life. In the next, I will pay you back with my life.
When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day we were choosing our shifter bodyguards. I stood there in a daze until I felt blood welling in my palm from how hard I was clenching my hand. Only then did I realize this was not a dream. My sister shot me a glance, then tugged on Father's sleeve with a sugary smile.
Dad, if Olivia isn't choosing, then let me go first.
As she spoke, Father watched her indulgently while she flitted between the two tall serpent shifters like a cheerful little bird. Though they kept the upper bodies of men, their long serpentine tails slid restlessly across the floor, and their cold slit pupils shone with caution.
I think I'll take Adam. Olivia is always by herself, so she really needs a strong serpent shifter to protect her.
She sounded thoughtful and caring, but her eyes never left the older brother, Alex, not for even a second. I kept my expression calm, but the scene from my previous life came rushing back. She had done the same thing then. The one she truly wanted had always been Alex, yet she put on a show of concern and offered to leave him to me. What I had not understood then was that her retreat had only ever been a tactic. Looking at her performance, I had genuinely believed she meant it, so I refused no matter what.
I could not bear to let her compromise, and I did not want Adam, the younger brother, to be put to death either, until the day of the fire.
Even then, she was still saying,
"Save my sister first!"
while reaching for Adam at the first chance she got. Even though her own bodyguard, Alex, was right beside her. Even though where she stood was far safer than where I was. She was always like this, certain I would soften, certain the trick would work. She never suffered any real loss, yet somehow still walked away with a glowing reputation.
But this time, I agreed. Whatever Chloe wants. My answer was so unexpected that the smile froze on her face. She was not the only one shocked. Adam jerked his head up and stared at me, surprise flashing through those cold, reptilian slit pupils.
No,
Father said sharply.
Chloe is the delicate one. She's the one who needs the better bodyguard. This younger brother can't even talk. He doesn't deserve to stay by her side.
Understanding dawned on me. So Father had known all along.
Yet he still brought Adam here. Rather than truly letting my sister and me choose, this whole thing had only been a performance to make it look fair.
I'm fine.
My sister had just started to relax, ready to speak, when Adam suddenly opened his mouth.
Sir, I can speak.
I could not help glancing at him again. In my previous life, Adam had spoken only once before I died. And now he was talking already? Then I caught the unmistakable wariness in his eyes, and I knew for certain. Adam had been reborn too. Watching him fight so hard for this chance only made his final promise from my last life seemed even more ridiculous. But that was fine. I did not want him anymore either. Relying on the serpent shifter's natural agility and his constraining strength, Adam took down several retired Special Forces men, standing beside Father. Even Father, who had opposed the idea, began to waver. My sister lit up with delight. She had always preferred Adam's refined, handsome looks. If he had not been mute, she would have been her first choice from the very beginning.
All right then. Adam will stay with Chloe from now on. As for Alex,
he turned to the other brother.
You'll go with Olivia.
At Father's order, a dark look settled over Alex's face. His icy snake tail lashed the floor in irritation. Then,
gritting his teeth. He bent down and knelt.
Sir, please forgive me, but I cannot obey. What do you mean by that?
Father might favor my sister, but I was still his daughter. For Alex to refuse him in front of everyone was an open show of disrespect.
If you refuse to protect my daughter, then you can go straight to the disposal chamber.
I had known in my previous life that the shifter bodyguards father bought at enormous cost would be sent to the disposal chamber for humane euthanasia if they were not chosen. I could not bear to watch a living person die before my eyes, so I had kept Adam by my side. This time it was Alex's turn. I still said nothing, but my sister panicked. She rushed forward and grabbed Alex's arm, trying to pull him up from the floor.
Alex, if you don't go with Olivia, you'll die!
But Alex only looked at her with naked devotion and shook his head firmly.
If I cannot protect Chloe, then death means nothing to me.
At that, a blush rose across my sister's face. I could not help laughing.
Olivia, can you really just stand there and watch him die?
Tears shimmered in my sister's eyes as she turned to face me. From the brother's angle, she looked heartbreakingly fragile. Dad, if Alex is this loyal to Chloe, then let both brothers stay with her. I spoke up at just the right moment. One more won't make a difference, and neither will two. That landed exactly where it needed to. From the moment the two serpent shifters had appeared, her eyes had never once left them. Father fell silent for a moment, thinking it over.
Olivia, then what about you?
It's okay, Dad. I'm the older sister. Of course I should give in to Chloe. Everyone turned to look at me. I only lowered my head and did my best to look considerate and understanding. Father smiled.
Olivia's finally grown up. But how will your safety be protected?
I lifted my head and saw the approval written plainly across Father's face. I also caught the note of scrutiny in Adam's eyes, but I had no interest in guessing what he was thinking, and even less in caring. Send me to work at my brother's company, Dad. I'll take care of myself. In my previous life, I had poured everything into holding on to Adam. In the process, I forgot to secure my footing within this family. There were 3 children in the house, and I was the middle one. I was not like my older brother, burdened with father's expectations, and I was not like my younger sister, doled on as the baby of the family. When I was 7, I was sent away to a remote country villa and left to fend for myself. I had only been brought back 2 years ago. My brother was ruthless in business. Every time he returned from a trip, he brought Chloe designer handbags and limited edition jewelry. Even the lifestyle assistant at her side lived better than I did. In my previous life, I had to save up from my meager allowance just to pay Adam's medical bills. So if I wanted to improve my standing, I had to prove my value. My brother had never cared much for the unwanted sister of the family. He did not meet with me personally. He merely had the HR director assign me to the logistics department, then ignored me after that. I said nothing and quietly focused on my work. I had not forgotten the business knowledge I learned in my previous life. If anything, I had become even better. When the company became locked in a fierce acquisition battle with a rival, I used sharp data analysis and negotiation tactics to secure the key project in one move. Only then did my brother formally met with me. As a reward, he transferred me into the core business division. The company needed capable people, and on top of that, I was family. That made me someone he could trust. Because of that, I also came to know many of the group's inner secrets. After I secured another major order, my brother openly praised my contribution at the board meeting. Almost overnight, my name spread through our social cluster. I even outshined my sister, who had worked so hard to build her image as a perfect socialist. The day I returned to the estate villa, she stormed into my room. Behind her stood the twin serpent shifter bodyguards, flanking her on either side in a protective stance. At a single look from her, Adam's snake body snapped toward me like a whip. I never saw it coming. The blow hit me hard and sent me crashing to the floor. My sister curled her red lips into a cruel smile.
Olivia, let me teach you how a real heiress is supposed to act.
On the day of my wedding, my mother tore my wedding gown apart in front of every noble present. Raising the moon goddess scepter high, She brought it crashing down toward me, sending me sprawling across the ground.
Selena is not worthy of becoming the new Alpha King's bride. A deathly silence fell over the hall. I was the rejected silver-eyed daughter of the Silver Moon Wolf Pack. Today, as long as I completed the blood oath with the newly crowned Alpha King Ryan, I would become his Luna, the queen of all werewolves. But my biological mother, Hera, the most revered high priestess of the Temple of Light, publicly declared,
Last night, she seduced Karen, the Shadow Pletha clan's holy knight, and her sister Elena's fiancé.
The crowd instantly erupted.
I knew those silver eyes were filthy. She actually dared to betray the Alpha King? Drive her out of the Silver Moon Pack!
A chill spread through my entire body as I stared at my mother.
What are you talking about? Last night, she had personally handed me a cup of blessed potion. She had smiled and said,
Drink this, and the moon goddess will bless you and Ryan with a bond that can never be broken.
But when I woke up, the man lying beside me wasn't Ryan. It was Karen. Both of us had been drugged. I wanted to explain, but Karen had already thrown on his cloak. His eyes were filled with nothing but disgust.
Selena, I've never met a woman as shameless as you. You'd even go after your own sister's fiancé.
Then Karen staggered backward until he reached Elena's side. His eyes were red as he looked at her.
I've been tainted. You're so pure. I no longer deserve to marry you.
Below the altar, Ryan stood motionless. He had once told me that even if the entire world despised my silver eyes, he would still marry me. But now, the way he looked at me was no different from looking at something filthy. I rushed down from the altar and grabbed his hand. Ryan, someone set me up. There was something wrong with that potion. It was Mother!
Enough!
He shook me off, his voice horsey.
Selena and I used to think you were just unlucky. Now I realize you genuinely disgust me.
I froze where I stood. Elena burst into tears and buried herself in our mother's arms. She had a pair of noble golden eyes, pale, delicate, and fragile. She looked like the most innocent sainty continent. Sister, I know you've always been jealous of me, but Karen is my fiancé. My mother gently wiped away her tears before walking over to me. Then, with her own hands, she removed the silver moon crest pinned to my chest. It was the symbol of a wolf bride status, and in all 15 years of my life, it was the only thing that had ever truly acknowledged my existence. I stared at her. Why? She leaned close to my ear, her voice so low that only I could hear it.
Because Elena is far more suitable to be Luna. She has golden eyes. You're nothing but a stain. In that moment, I finally understood. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a trap they had prepared long ago.
That moment, Elena suddenly wiped away her tears and stepped forward. The position of Luna of the Silver Moon Wolf Pack cannot remain vacant. It would only make us the laughingstock of everyone. Since my sister committed such a disgraceful offense, let me atone for her sins in her place. Ryan, if you're willing, I can complete this blood oath in my sister's stead. Ryan turned around and placed the blood crown, the symbol of the queen, upon Elena's head. The entire hall erupted in cheers. My sister wore my wedding gown, held my groom's hand, and stood in the place that should have been mine. And I was publicly sentenced by my own mother.
At Selena Silver Eyes has defiled the blood oath, strip her of the wolf crest, and exiled her to the Forbidden Rift. She shall never return.
As the temple knights dragged me down from the altar, Elena glanced at me. Tears still lingered on her face, but the corners of her lips slowly curled forward.
15 years later, at the inheritance banquery of the Sacred Dominion Conforch, Nables and power holders from all 12 clans gathered beneath one roof. They knelt before my dragonbone throne, competing to present moon-tear crystal mines, territorial deeds, and bloodline oaths as tribute.
None of them knew that the Empress of the Sacred Dominion, the woman who controlled 80% of the continent's moon-tier crystal mines, was the same silver-eyed outcast they had once trampled into the mud.
Until my adopted son, Heiress, walked into the grand hall holding a young woman's hand. She wore a silver-white formal gown. Her golden eyes shone brightly, and pride radiated from her face.
Her name was Ivy, Elena's daughter, and she bore the exact same face her mother had 15 years ago. Kaio stopped before me, his tone unwavering.
Mother, Ivy will become my blood oath mate. If you approve, we'll announce our engagement tonight.
Every guest in the hall held their breath. Ivy lifted her chin slightly, waiting for me to bestow that honor upon her. She was the golden-eyed saintress of the Silver Moon Wolf Pack, Ryan's most cherished daughter and Hera's favorite granddaughter. She was used to people lowering their heads the moment they saw her, but she had forgotten one thing. This was not the Silver Moon Wolf Pack. This was the sacred dominion conferred. This was the throne I had clawed my way towards for 15 years, inch by inch, through the bones and corpses of the Forbidden Rift. I looked at that face and remembered the wedding gown that had been torn apart 15 years ago. I remembered the poison my mother had handed me. I remembered the cold look in Ryan's eyes. Then I set down my wine glass. The base struck the dragonbone armrest. The sound was not loud, yet the entire hall fell silence in an instant. I do not approve,
I said. Kairos froze.
Mother?
The smile on Ivy's face stiffened. I raised my eyes to her. You will never become the mate of the Sacred Dominion's heir, not in this lifetime. The crowd instantly exploded into an uproar. Ivy's eyes reddened at once.
Why? What makes me unworthy?
I looked at her and smiled. Because the thing your mother stole 15 years ago is finally going to be returned today. Ivy's face went completely pale. Kaios stepped in front of her, his brows drawn tightly together.
Mother, Ivy didn't do anything wrong. The grudges of the previous generation shouldn't fall on her shoulders.
I looked at him. Do you even know what happened 15 years ago? Ivy spoke before he—
My mother told me everything. 15 years ago, you betrayed Alpha King Ryan and seduced Karen, my mother's fiancé. You were exiled because you committed a crime.
She bit her lip, looking as though I were the one bullying her.
But my mother always defended you. She said you were just too jealous of her.
Muted whispers spread throughout the hall. Some of the older nobles lowered their heads. Back then, they had all stood beneath the moon goddess's altar. They had watched my wedding gown being torn apart, and they had watched Elena put on my bridal dress. They knew about that scand, but they had never cared about the truth, because the stories written by the victors were always clean and respectable. Before I could speak, the doors of the hall were suddenly pushed open. Ivy wasn't wrong. Everyone turned around. Elena had arrived.
15 years had passed, yet she was still breathtakingly beautiful in that fragile way of hers. Her golden hair was pinned up behind her head, and the royal crest of the Silver Moon Wolfpack's Luna was embroidered on her white cloak. Behind her stood Alpha King Ryan, and Karen, the holy knight of the Shadow Leopard clan.
Every person who had destroyed my life 15 years ago had finally appeared before me once again. Elena's eyes stiffened for a second the moment she saw me.
Sister, I never imagined the Empress of the Sacred Dominion would turn out to be you.
She called me sister, but her tone sounded more like a reminder to everyone present that I had once been nothing more than the filthy, silver-eyed outcast of the Silver Moon Wolf Pack. Caius frowned.
Mother, you know them?
I didn't answer. Ryan stepped forward. He still carried the same arrogance of an alpha king, though the sharpness in his golden eyes was no longer what it had been.
He looked at me and remained silent for a long moment.
Selena.
Hearing that name come from his lips almost made me laugh. 15 years ago, he had used that name when he told me he loved me. Later, he had used the same voice to say that I disgusted him. And now he wanted to use that name again, pretending there were still unresolved feelings between us. I spoke calmly. Your Majesty, this is a private banquet of the Sacred Dominion Consortium. You were not invited.
Sister, if you're angry with me, then take it out on me. Why make things difficult for Ivy? She simply fell in love with Kairos.
How interesting.
I looked at her.
15 years ago, you also claimed that you had simply fallen in love with Ryan.
Karen suddenly spoke, his voice cold.
Selena, what happened back then is already in the past.
I turned to him. Of course it is. For you.
After you woke up, all you had to do was call me shameless. But I had to spend 15 years in the Forbidden Rift, carrying the crime you all forced onto me.
Karen's throat bobbed. There was something complicated in his eyes. Pain, conflict, and a belated trace of doubt. But I didn't need it. Belated doubt was just like belated love. Both were worthless. Ryan took a deep breath.
We didn't come here today to dig up the past. Ivy and Kaiitis love each other.
An alliance between our two clans would benefit the sacred dimension as well. Selena, don't let personal grudges interfere with the bigger picture.
I gently set down my wine glass. You're lecturing me about the bigger picture? Ryan frowned. I lifted a hand, and the attendant behind me unfurled a black and gold contract scroll. It was covered with the markings of moon-tier crystal veins. My voice wasn't loud. Everyone heard it clearly.
The Sacred Dominion Commodum controls 80% of the continent's moon-tier crystal mines. Last year, 70% of the Silver Moon Wolfpack's military supplies, potions, and room array maintenance came from Sacred Dominion resources. Ryan, you're standing on my territory, living off my mines, and still expecting me to prioritize your bigger picture.
Ryan's expression instantly darkened. For the first time, panic flashed across Ivy's face. She grabbed Kaios's hand.
Kaios, say something!
Mother, do you really have to do this?
Kairos looked at me, and for the first time, there was anger in his eyes. Do what? I asked.
Expose the truth in front of everyone? Or refuse to hand over the life's work I've built to my enemy's daughter?
Kairos lowered his voice.
Ivy isn't her mother.
Neither are you me. You don't have the right to forgive them on my behalf. I fixed my gaze on him. The moment those words left my mouth, the last trace of hesitation vanished from Kairos's face. He took Ivy's hand and turned to face the guests.
If Mother refuses to give us her blessing, then I'll make the announcement myself. I, Kairos, as the heir of the sacred dimension, choose Ivy as my blood oath mate. From this night forward, anyone who humiliates her becomes my enemy.
The entire hall fell silent. A flash of triumph crossed Elena's eyes. Even Ryan slowly looked pleased.
Kairos, I knew you wouldn't abandon me.
Crying, Ivy threw herself into Kairos's arms. I watched them and suddenly felt tired. Not heartbroken, just tired of it all. I raised my hand.
Bring me the blood oath scroll.
Hope lit up in at Kairos's eyes.
Mother, you agree?
I smiled. Of course. Before Ivy could even breathe a sigh of relief, I finished the sentence.
I agree to sever the blood oath between us as mother and son.
The smile on Kayate's face frozen.
What did you say?
An attendant brought over a black parchment scroll. It was no ordinary contract. Someone recognized it, their voice trembling.
The soul severation blood oath. Once it's signed, blood ties, inheritance rights, and family protection are all permanently cut off.
When Damien pressed the silver blade against my wrist, his first love was sitting on my throne, wearing my Luna dress. The entire Blackwood pack was watching. The guards and witnesses of the Moon Goddess Council all remained silent. Salit reached out and touched my corona, smiling innocently.
Lena, don't blame Damien.
Just sign the Luna severance agreement already. I looked at Damien. 7 years ago, he held my hand at the Temple of the Moon and said I was his only mate. 7 years later, he threw an agreement in front of me. Luna Suspension Accord. Temporarily sever the Luna bond. 30 days later, the Alpha will have the option to renew the mate bond. Choose again. I've heard those 2 words 6 times already. The first time, he took my Luna ring at my birthday party, saying that Celeste had just returned to North America and couldn't be ruined by rumors. The third time, he drained my healing wolf blood to save her, leaving me unconscious in the medical pod for 7 days. The 6th time, he asked me to move out of the master bedroom, because Celista said she couldn't stand my scent. Now, for the 7th time, he didn't even bother to comfort me.
Signed.
I looked at the agreement and suddenly smiled. Why did it have to be today? Celeste's eyes immediately welled up with tears.
Lena, tonight is my bloodline hearing. The council stipulates that bloodline candidates under the public protection of an alpha cannot be involved in mate disputes. If you keep the Luna title, the council will cancel my hearing and brand me a homewrecker who interfered with an alpha's mate bond.
I understood. The bloodline hearing is the highest level of bloodline certification in the North American sanctuary. Once approved, candidates gain noble status, council protection, eligibility for pact marriage, and even become legitimate Luna candidates. Celeste wanted to transform from Damien's first love into a noblewoman recognized by the Moon Goddess Council, and I was her only obstacle.
I looked at Damien.
So, you want to kick me out of Luna's position first, just so she can pass the review with a clean record? Damien frowned.
It's only temporary. Celeste may be a distant branch of the lost royal family. If she passes the hearing, Blackwood will gain new leverage in the council. Lena, you should think about the pack.
I see. He wanted both my protection and the title for Celesta. He still thought I would never leave. The silver blade pressed into my wrist, and blood dripped onto the agreement.
Just 30 days. I will choose you again.
I would have believed him in the past. I would have cried, begged, and kneeled at his feet, pleading with him not to reject me again. But this time, I picked up the pen and calmly signed my name. Lena Ashburn. For a moment, the entire hall seemed to freeze. Damien's pupils suddenly contracted.
Ashbourne.
There wasn't a single werewolf in the North American sanctuary who didn't know this surname. 20 years ago, a civil war tore through the Ashburn royal family. The moon crown disappeared, and it was rumored that the main tree went extinct. Since then, no one dared to use that surname. Impersonating a royal bloodline meant execution by the Moon Goddess Council. Damien stared intently at my signature.
Lena, do you know what this surname means?
I put down my pen. I know, he sneered.
Ashburn is long gone. You dare to use the name of a lost royal family just to spine me?
I looked up at him. Who told you Ashburn was gone? I personally unclasped the mate bond necklace from the back of my neck. Damien, I accept your rejection. The moment the mate bond severed, the excruciating pain felt like silver flames burning through my bones. Damien groaned, his face going deathly pale. I took a step back. The 7th time, and the last time, my phone screen lit up. Ashbone Royal Rights Revivigation Order. 72-hour countdown begins. Damien was unaware. Tonight, he wasn't rejecting a wife who couldn't live without him. He was rejecting the crown that had sustained the Blackwood family for 7 years. As I left the main Blackwood estate, torrential rain pounded on the steps. The pack members who had sworn allegiance to me before the crest of the moon goddess stood in 2 rows. But not one of them dared to look up at me. Damien chased after me.
Lena, stop!
He grabbed my wrist and pressed right onto the wound. Blood seeped out again. I looked at his hand. Let go. He paused for a moment. I used to soften whenever he touched me, even if just a second ago he had humiliated me for Celesta's sake. But right now, all I felt was pain. Damien, you're hurting me. He let go as if he had been burned. Celeste, wearing his coat, stood in the doorway and said softly, Lena, he's just worried about you. I raised my bleeding wrist.
Forcing me to sign with a silver blade is your idea of worry?
Celeste's face paled for a moment. Damien immediately stepped in front of her.
Don't take your anger out on her.
It was always like this. If she cried, the whole world was supposed to make way for her. 7 years ago, when I married Damien, my mother told me to keep my true surname a secret.
Lena, the name Ashburn brings both crowns and bloodshed.
I didn't understand back then. All I knew was that I loved Damien. So I concealed my moon crown bloodline, gave up my right to inherit the royal throne, and stood by his side as Lady Blackwood, taking him from nothing to the top of the North American sanctuary. He believed that Blackwood's rise was due to his own abilities. But what he didn't know was that it was the Ashburn royal credit that truly opened the doors of the financial world for him. It was Ashburn's proxy vote that suppressed the elders' impeachment against him. What calmed his feral wolf instincts was the last drop of the moon crown royal blood in my veins. Celeste wanted a bloodline hearing, not just to clear her name. She had fabricated a bloodline of a lost royal collateral branch. If the hearing passed, she would receive council certification and legitimize herself. At that time, she would be qualified to stand beside Damien and qualified to replace me as the new Luna. Therefore, she had to force Damien to publicly sever our bond. What she wanted wasn't innocence. What she wanted was my position. Damien softened his tone when he saw my silence.
I will restore your Luna title in 30 days. Go stay in the city for a few days and avoid any further conflict with Celeste.
I nodded. I won't have any more conflicts with her. He visibly breathed a sigh of relief because I'm done with you.
What did you say?
Don't you understand? I'm done with you.
Lena, you can't live without me.
You said the same thing last time, but didn't you still come back? I got into the car and took one last look at them before closing the door. Then you'd better pray that I'll come back this time. The car drove away from the estate. In the rearview mirror, Damien was still standing in the rain, looking down from his high horse. He didn't know, 72 hours later, he'd be begging me on his knees not to take everything back. In those final 72 hours, I gave Damien a chance. If he truly chose me just once, the Ashburn Wright's revocation order would be cancelled. I had even prepared a graceful out for him. If only he came to the night of the moon's coronation. If only he said in front of the council, "Lena is my Luna." I would have given these 7 years a dignified ending. But 15 minutes before the ceremony began, Damien didn't show. The moon priestess looked at me, his voice low.
Miss Ashburn, are you sure you want to wait?
I didn't answer.
He glanced at the moonstone in the center of the temple.
Tonight is the night of the moon's coronation, and also Blackwood's annual sanctuary ceremony. According to the council's decree, alphas must personally confirm their Luna. Only a confirmed Luna is qualified to light the moonstone for their pack.
I gripped the moon crown scepter tightly. What if he doesn't show up? The priestess was silent for a moment.
Then the protection you grant won't be attributed to Blackwood. Blackwood's moon goddess barrier, council seat, and alpha privileges will all expire after midnight. The credit guarantees behind all their business projects will also be frozen simultaneously.
I lowered my eyes. It all came down to just one sentence from him. If only he said one thing, "Lena is my Luna." I could still extend Blackwood's protection for another year as their Luna. My phone vibrated at that exact moment. Celeste sent a photo. On a private jet, she was leaning against Damien, his coat draped over her shoulders. The caption was only one sentence. Before the hearing began, he chose me first. I was sent to Asgallon as a hostage after Ithalia lost the war. The one stepping on me was Beatrix, the Duke's daughter. She hated me because the prince once spoke up for me.
Still alive? If you don't finish cleaning this armor today, you'll sleep in the stables with the stallions in heat.
My lady, she looks half dead. Even the horses might not want her.
What she didn't know was that the prince and I were linked. Any pain I felt would pass straight to him, no matter how far away he was.
Oh dear! Your Highness! Are you hurt? All forces, listen up! Vanguard, keep clearing the enemy! Blackguard, with me! We're going back to the castle! Your Highness, you can't! The enemy's main force is in the canyon. If we pull back now, the army will lose heart.
Move. Say one more word, and I'll put your head on my banner!
Yeah!
Dump it on her head. Wake her up. Thane! Why are you back? I was just teaching this lazy hostage a lesson for you.
Who gave you permission to touch her?
Your Highness, I was too slow. I'll go to the stable now.
You bitch! Stop playing weak! I am your fiancé!
Touch her again, and I'll skin you alive. Get out!
You're using me.
What do you mean, Your Highness?
You knew we were linked, but you let them punish you on purpose. You forced me back from the battlefield. Why would you do that?
Because I want Beatrix dead.
No, that's impossible. The border is in crisis. I need to go back. I'll leave you a squad of iron guards. Beatrix won't be able to hurt you. Don't do this again.
Beatrix is a monster. If I get hurt, it's always her. Miss Beatrix, the prince ordered us to protect her. Just you wait!
Miss Odile, the prince can't kill a duke's daughter for you. Why keep going at Miss Beatrix like this? Why? Sylvie was my maid. We grew up together. She was family to me. But Beatrix, to marry the prince, she wouldn't allow any other woman in the castle.
Kill them!
Silva crossed Beatrix because she protected me.
That dress was a gift from the prince. How dare you get it dirty? Move!
Beatrix was a monster. I swore I'd make her pay in blood. And soon I got my chance.
Knight, kill her!
Beatrix? What are you doing?
Your Highness! She stained the dress you gave me. I'm dealing with her.
Fine. Just don't go too far.
Prince and I shared a pain link. From then on, Thane moved me into his chambers. Beatrix went mad with jealousy. Thane, I'm only a hostage. If I want revenge, I need to use you. Once you see that she can threaten both our lives, you'll have to kill her.
Draw Thon's iron guards away. Drag that bitch out here!
Thane, do you see it now? Your mercy is going to get us both killed.
Odile was right. Beatrix, you snake.
All forces, turn back! We're taking the castle. I'll slaughter her whole family.
Useless fools! Kill them all!
Odile, letting you die this fast would be too easy.
Take her to the water dungeon.
Thane will be back soon. Beatrix, do you hear the bells? They're ringing for your funeral. I underestimated Beatrix. She wanted to torture me in the water dungeon. But so what? Every bit of this pain would be shared by Thane.
Odile is in the water dungeon!
Scream all you want. This is the water dungeon.
Even if Thade comes back, he'll never find you.
Thane is mine. Burn it onto that pretty little... Thane, is this pain enough to make you kill...
Beatrix, I'm going to kill you!
Dying already? That's too easy for her. Peel her skin off in one piece.
I want it on my wedding bed with His Highness.
Sylvie, if even this can't avenge you, then I'll die with you.
Let's see who dares touch her!
No, aren't you at the front?
I'm sorry. I'm late.
My husband, Julian, married his elder brother's widow, Cecilia, to secure his title. My daughter Adele and I waited for him on a crumpling farm. A kind passerby warned me.
Julian has already been made count. Why are you still here?
So I took Adele to the royal capital to find him. But Cecilia, his widowed sister...
Julian! Save her! Please! Call a court physician for our daughter!
I crawled toward him and clutched his boots, begging.
Julian looked down at me, then slid an arm around Cecilia's waist.
What madwoman is this, screaming in my castle?
His voice was ice cold. He kicked my hand away in disgust.
Drag this woman, and that little bastard outside the city. Beat them to death.
As the guards dragged me away, I heard Cecilia give a cold laugh.
Genevieve, if you stay alive, how can Julian and I rule this castle in peace?
The vows Julian had made were long forgotten. Adele and I died full of hatred. When I opened my eyes again, cold wind poured down my throat. I had not died in the hall of the Count's castle. The gods had heard my curse and sent me back to the day Julian was officially made Count. I threw away the wild berries in my hand and sold the farm. Then I carried Adele back to Anjik Castle and knelt, begging my father to forgive me.
Father, your daughter was wrong.
My father stood inside the drawbridge, watching me through an iron gate.
Are you sure this time? Genevieve, what makes me believe this isn't another whim?
Father, I won't run again.
You said that last time. You said Julian was the bravest knight you'd ever seen. You said he deserved your heart more than the man on the throne.
I said nothing. Those words were mine. Every last one. In the end, Father relented.
Come in. Stop embarrassing me at the gate.
I stood with Adele in my arms, my legs gone numb. Margaret, the housekeeper, hurried over to support me and said softly,
"My lady, His Grace sent men to the Black Forest for years to look for you."
I froze. Margaret sighed, but the people there said you'd moved long ago. No one knew where you'd gone. The foyer hearth burned bright. Father sat in a high-backed chair.
Tell me, how did you live these past 5 years?
I stood before him while Margaret carried Adele to the side parlour. At first it was fine. Julian told me to wait for him at the farm. He sent silver every month. By the 4th month I was picking wild berries in the woods. Adele was born during a snowstorm. No one helped me. I cut the cord myself. 3 days after she was born, Julian's messenger came. He said Julian was working to inherit the title. He told me to wait a little longer. That little longer became 5 years. Do you know why he never came? Father opened his eyes. They were already red.
I know. He had to marry his widowed sister-in-law to inherit the title. Those people at the church granted him a dispensation. So what will you do now?
Father asked.
Do you want to accuse him of bigamy before the church? I can send someone with the papers, but think carefully. Once this becomes public, Adele will be dragged into it.
It could damage her reputation.
I cut him off. Julian has nothing.
From start to finish, he has only an empty title and a mountain of debt. Father was silent for a while.
What did you ever see in him?
I closed my eyes. It was autumn, 6 years ago. I had gone hunting. A storm hit on the ride back. I was separated from my guards. Julian lay in the mud, one leg bent wrong. I had my guards carry him to a nearby farm. I splint his leg with branches and washed his wound with holy water. On the 4th morning, I opened the farmhouse door.
My name is Julian. I am the second son of the Count of the Eastern Border.
That was how Julia introduced himself. I stayed at the farm and cared for him for a month. The day he could walk, he limped into the yard. He saw me mounted, ready to return to Angor Castle.
Will you come back?
He said.
Maybe,
I said, looking down at him.
Then I'll wait for you here.
He said it, then tore a cord from his neck. A copper ring hung from it.
This isn't worth much, but it's been with me for 10 years. Take it when you come back.
I'll give it back.
I took the ring.
When you come back.
Julian smiled.
I'll tell you a secret.
After that, I went back every few days. One night, he suddenly said,
Genevieve, I want to marry you.
He came over and dropped to one knee.
I know I have no land and no title, but I swear I will love only you for the rest of my life. Count or beggar, you are my wife.
He held my hand and slid the copper ring back onto my finger. That night, we swore our vows before the farm statue of the gods. When he kissed me, I thought that was the end of the story.
So you believed him.
Father's voice pulled me back into the foyer.
I'll ask you one last time.
He came to stand before me, looking down.
Are you sure this time you won't climb the wall and run in the middle of the night?
I won't.
The voice was firm.
Good.
He turned and walked deeper into the foyer.
Tomorrow morning I'll send men to the church with a complaint accusing him of bigamy.
Father!
I stopped him. I don't want it submitted privately. He turned back, his eyes cold as ice.
What did you say?
I raised my head and met his eyes. I want the ruling, but I also want a public trial. I want him to admit, before the Queen Regent, that he abandoned his wife and daughter. Father stared at me for a long time. Then he smiled.
You are my daughter after all. When you turn ruthless, even I hardly recognize you.
I ordered Margaret to deliver a letter to a cloaked man. He was my father's best rumour runner, the sort who fed whispers into taverns. Adele had fallen asleep on the rug. Margaret brought in hot soup and lowered her voice.
My lady, people outside are saying Count Julian abandoned his first wife in the Black Forest to die, all for a title.
How far has it gone?
I lifted the soup and took a sip.
Now they say that after marrying his widowed sister-in-law, he sent men to the farm to silence you.
I want him sleepless.
I looked out into the night.
If he can still sleep, he won't panic. If he doesn't panic, he won't act.
In less than 5 days, the rumour filled every street in the capital. A lame old sailor slapped a table and said,
Have you heard about that new Count of the Eastern Border? He had a first wife, left her in the Black Forest to die.
Then came the fish market. A vendor gossiped.
I heard he wanted the title and his widowed sister-in-law, so he sent men to kill his own child.
Even in the saloons where nobles gathered, people murmured.
Count Julia, the one who built his fortune on his wife's dowry, then tossed her aside.
That's him. They say his first wife still has the marriage contract. If it reaches the church, he may lose everything.
Then why doesn't he bring her back?
Bring her back? He married his widowed sister-in-law. That's bigamy. The church won't spare him. Margaret brought these words back to me every day. That night, Father stood at the stairs of the East Tower, holding a cup of hot wine.
Using the rumours to force his hand.
He said,
You know the whole capital is talking, so he'll have to check whether you're truly dead.
Father took a sip of wine and watched me for a long time.
Genevieve, you're using your own life as bait.
Father, the fish was already bitten.
I smiled at him. Julian's captain of the guard took 5 men into that Black Forest farm at midnight. They broke down the door and searched every corner. They found no one. The captain set a fire and burned the whole cottage to ash. When he returned to the capital, Julia asked,
Did you see them die inside with your own eyes?
The captain said.
The fire was huge. Even if they weren't dead, they couldn't survive.
Julian took 30 gold coins from his purse and threw them on the table.
Go drink. Take this to your grave.
The captain seized the coins and left. The moment the door closed, Julian leaned back and let out a long breath. He smiled. These words came from an informant father had planted in the Count's kitchen. After I heard the report, I lifted Adele onto my lap.
Adele, would you like to go somewhere with lots of people and lots of good food?
Adele was gnawing a piece of dry bread. She looked up at me.
I want to go.
Julian was holding an autumn harvest feast. It was his celebration after being officially invested as Count of the Eastern Border. He meant to present Cecilia as Countess, so the capital could see who truly owned the castle. On the day of the feast, night fell early. I lifted one corner of the carriage curtain and glanced out.